Today's story. A story told by the Rebbe when? 1954, Shabbos Parshas Tzav. I'm going to translate as the Rebbe said it. Once upon a time, the Russian kings, the Czars, so they didn't have a Congress that they were beholden to, right? They were complete autocrats. It was only just before the revolution that by force, Nikolai II had to make a Duma, a so-called Congress. But before that, they ruled, and so therefore they did whatever they wanted, and they were not beholden to anything or anyone. I don't know who he's referring to here, but I'm sure someone might even know. In the later years, so the Czar was a shikar. Anyone knows that was?
Only the later years?
Yeah, apparently. I don't think it was the very last one before the revolution. I don't know. Maybe he was. At any rate, we can know the year because we're talking about in the early 1800s. Okay, well, look it up. Interesting. So once the Czar came to Chernigov, and the Rabbi of Chernigov was called Radatz Chaim. His name was Chaim David Tzvi Chaim. He was a big Rav, and a gewaldige Gaon, and a scion of, in fact, tracing back a very, very illustrious ancestry that goes back to the Jewish leaders during the golden years in Spain, going back to David HaMelech. He eventually lived in Israel. He died in Yisrael. He was in Hebron. So the Rav, the Raskins are descendants of the Chaims. In fact, their real name is Chaim. Lein, Chaim. So the Rav, he was the Rav of the city, so he went out dressed in his kapota, his special Shabbos garments, holding a Sefer Torah, as was the custom then to greet kingship, Malchus, with the greatest honor. When he came close to the king, so he stood there, the Radatz, he put his hand on his forehead. I just want to tell you the story of that. The Rebbe says here, that was the Seder by the Radatz. Before he made a bracha, he used to put his hand in his forehead, and then to concentrate on what he was about to make a bracha. The Rebbe adds, Havaya, Yishoya, Hayva, V'yike Echad, Alekenus, Koyach and Chayas. Now, just the story behind that, if you get it related in the Sikh and Tafshin Gimel, he says like this. He describes like this, the Chosid and Ovid Radatz, Ishmas Eidin. All his life, his custom was, before he made a baracha on a food or a drink, he used to put his right hand to his forehead, like someone who has to remember something very deep, is recalling something very deep. And this goes back to his earliest years, Tov Reish Nun, Tav Nun Aleph, which would be 1851. So in 1851, in my younger years, if you get up as 10 or 11 here, he relates that I asked him why he does this before he bracha, why he does this. So he told the Frierdiker Rebbe as a child that when he was 12 years old, his uncle, the Peretz Chaim, famous also, Chosid, brought me to Lubavitch to the Rebbe Tzemach Tzedek. So when he went in, when he came to the Rebbe, so the Rebbe was Makarev, this of David Radatz, David Tzvi, Chaim David Tzvi. And he said to him, amongst other things, listen to me, folg mir, ver is ingel, don't be a child anymore. When you have to make a bracha on food or a drink, and you have to say Baruch Atah, you should remember before whom you're saying Baruch Atah. And that's why ever since then, all his life, whenever he made a bracha, he paused, put his hand over his right hand over his forehead, and meditated into the meaning of what he was saying. So back to the story. So why do you do that? Because he's making the bracha that you make when you encounter kingship, a monarch. The bracha is shenasa mikvoide lebasav adam. You bless Hashem who has given of his covet to flesh and blood. He said it with a loud voice that people should answer Amen. He went with an entourage. The king, the Czar looks at this Jew, dressed strangely, he's wearing his Shabbos attire, holding a Sefer Torah, and he's Baruch Atah, he said with the Gewaldige. If you look at his Berke Chain, he was a direct descendant, who passed away not so long ago, wore 4 pairs of tefillin, and he was like a Benyan Yeftanya, extraordinary Chosid, lived in Kfar Chabad. He used to come for Tishrei to New York. Just to look at his face was enough. He just watched that man's davening. I'm imagining he davened like his, no, this is his Zayda. Every word, he put his whole life in it, every word. So the Czar was like, what's going on? He turns to his people, explain what this Meshuggah is. He found it comical and crazy. And funny. So this Adatz had a nephew who was a little bit, the Rabbi says in quotations, advanced, which means a little modern. In Yiddish is called aufgeklärt, enlightened. This is meant somewhat tongue-in-cheek. So they came back home. He says to his uncle, you're playing with fire. The man is drunk. He laughed at you. He easily could have been enraged and that'll be the end. You mocked him. He said it's completely unpredictable. So how could you do such a thing? You go out and you with a bracha and a Sefer Torah and you stand there and you shout the bracha. How do you do that? You were risking your life. So the Radat said to him, Tipish, fool, harayesh leisar l'mayla, which means there is the heavenly minister above. End of story. What it means is, and I'm saying to share the story also now, what's our translation? The Gemara says, Megillah, that every earthly king has his heavenly representative above, and they're all pawns in the hands of Hashem. Leiv Malachim, V'sadim B'yad Hashem, the hearts of kings and princes, and is in the hearts of Hashem. So he's saying to him, he is just merely a pawn in God's name. The bracha that he was saying and who heard it above was the Tsar above. The message for us is that what's a Jew's attitude to government and politics? We don't get caught up in this nonsense. The bottom line is we look to see one thing. Hashem's hand in all of this, that's all that we're concerned with. And our influence as much as possible to make them instruments of Hashem's hand and will. And now they have tremendous influence there. But that's all. It's the whole context of politics is simply harayesh leisar l'mayla. He is merely a representative, earthly representative of the heavenly minister in the heavenly court above. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Have a good day, everybody.
Have a good day.
Wonderful day, everybody.
Thank you.